Hello students and welcome. This is Dr. Karen. I'm going to show you how to talk about semantic features of adjectives. What that means is that we're going to think really hard about what words mean and explain everything we know about them. But sometimes it can be hard to get our thoughts together. So we need something to help us think of a lot of different pieces of information. These pieces of information are called semantic features. Semantic features are like little details that go along with what a word means. When we talk about the features, we help ourselves understand what a word means and how we can use it. We can also help other people understand words this way too. So right now I'm going to show you how you can describe an adjective using semantic features. Remember, an adjective is a word that describes another word, like a noun. You and your speech pathologist or teacher might do this along with me. You could write this information down or just listen, and then afterwards you might do this together. When you get good at this, your speech pathologist might ask you to describe a word by yourself once you get the hang of it. So let's go through those semantic features for adjectives, which again is a describing word. Each type of word has different semantic features, so it's important that you know the features for each word type so you can do your best with explaining that word. The semantic features of adjectives are synonyms, antonyms, associated verbs, and associated nouns. Now I know that those are hard words to understand, so I'm going to help you remember some questions that you can ask yourself when you're thinking about a word or trying to describe a word, so you can think of a lot of good information and really understand these features. Because this will make it a lot easier for you to remember them and for you to use them to remember information about words. So I'll go through those quickly with an example. The word we're going to describe is drowsy. The first semantic feature for adjectives is a synonym. A synonym is a word or phrase that means the same thing as the other word you're describing. So to help ourselves remember to say a synonym when we're describing a word, we can ask ourselves, what is another word that means the same thing? So in this case, we'd say, what word means the same thing as drowsy? We could say things like tired or sluggish. The next semantic feature for an adjective is an antonym. An antonym is a word or phrase that means the opposite. A question we could ask ourselves to help us remember to say an antonym is, what word or words mean the opposite? So we could say, what word means the opposite of drowsy? And we could say alert, awake, or energetic. The next feature is associated nouns. And remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. When we're thinking about associated nouns when describing adjectives, we're thinking of any things that have to do with the word that we're describing. So we might want to ask ourselves what things might go with this, or what things might go along with being drowsy, or even what might make us drowsy if we want to make our question even more specific. Sometimes we have to think a little bit about what question might go with the word that we're explaining. So for this question, we could say things like, cold medicine might make us drowsy, or being in a hot, stuffy room might make us feel drowsy. The last semantic feature for adjectives is associated verbs. Here is where we ask ourselves, what actions might go with the word we're describing? Remember that verbs are action words. So we might say something like, what could we do that might make us feel drowsy? And we might say staying up too late, getting sick, or being busy or stressed out might make us feel drowsy. Let's review that one more time. I've put the questions up on the screen so that you can see them as I'm explaining this. So I'm going to explain the word drowsy, and I'm going to say the questions out loud so you can hear the thoughts that might be going through my head if I were describing this word, and if I were thinking about ways to explain it. So let's start. What words mean the same thing as drowsy? Well, tired and sluggish. What words mean the opposite? Well, Words like alert and awake are the opposite of drowsy. Then we might ask, what might make us drowsy? And we could say cold medicine or being in a hot, stuffy room might make us feel drowsy. And finally, what actions might make us drowsy? And I could say staying up too late, getting sick, or being really tired and stressed out might make us feel drowsy. Once you get really good at this, you might be able to say the questions to yourself in your head, which means you'll be able to come up with a lot of things to say about adjectives when you're describing them. Remember, an adjective is a describing word. It describes a person, place, or thing, or a noun. So now it's your turn to try. You might want to start out with an easy word you know and do this along with your speech pathologist the first couple times. When you get really good at doing semantic feature analysis, you might want to do it on your own, or do this with some trickier words. Good luck, and thanks for watching.